keep going? And I said, let me tell you. And the first one we're going to go to is Jeremiah 29:11, okay? And we're going to go here. Now I can't find it. I know I have it marked because it's one of my favorites. You can see all my bookmarks here. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." That was my go-to verse. Every single day. Pretty much every day still. I have it. It's written on the wall right next to my computer in my office. But every single day, my first year especially, I would wake up and there were so many days I just wanted to stay in bed and suck my thumb. I was not sure what I was doing. I was scared. I was like, what did I do? I just left a very lucrative teaching career to do what? Jump off a bridge? What am I doing? And so I remember coming across this verse, and I don't remember where it came, but I know it was the Lord that placed it in my path. And I go to this verse still very regularly. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord." And so if you're struggling with a few things, or you're not sure what you're looking for or what's going on, go to your Bible. I go there all the time, and the answers are there. I meditate in the morning. And so we're going to talk not just about taming the bully between your ears tonight, but thoughts are things, okay? Thoughts are what? Things, that's right. Thoughts are things. And I want to give a shout out to Janet McDonald if she's on the watching tonight. Janice, give us a thumbs up or a love because you just gave these to me, hun. But let me tell you the backstory about these socks. I created these socks. I know, I didn't really make them, but I created them to come into my life. The king is home. Dun, da, da, da. Yay! We're glad you made it home through safe traffic, honey.
It wasn't safe traffic, but I made it safe.
I'm glad you made it through safely through this gnarly traffic. So, what happened was we went on a family trip a few years ago to Alaska, and I bought some pajamas up there that say "I love Alaska," and it's got all kinds, and it had a pair of socks that went with my pajamas, and I absolutely loved them, and I wore the heels totally out. And they've been in my closet for a while, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to darn them, right? Yeah, right, like I'm going to darn my socks. And so they've been sitting in my closet, and about a month ago, I'm like, you know what? Thoughts are things. I want new socks. And I just had that thought, and I sent it out there. Well, guess what? My friend, Janet McDonald, hope you're on, Janet, talking about you. Janet McDonald, I meet her for lunch Wednesday. And she says, Jeanie, I got something for you. And she pulls these out and sets them in front of me. And I was like, oh my gosh, Janet, you have no idea. Oh my gosh, I was freaking out. She's like, whoa, they're just socks. Calm down. I'm like, no, you don't understand, Janet. I created these. And she's like, no, I bought them in Alaska. And I said, no, let me explain. And so I told her this story about how I had the thought. And she says, that's awesome. That's really cool. So Janet, if you're online, type in a little bit about the backstory about how you came to buy these exact socks for me, how you picked them or something. Let us know. I'd love to hear that. So let us know. Okay, here's another thing about thoughts or things. How many of you were with us 2 weeks ago on the 19th? Was it the 19th? Yeah. 19th of May, we did a live training. Were any of you online? Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're online because we did a rice experiment. Do you guys remember that? Okay, I know Kenny was watching it and he's in our audience now. So do you remember the rice experiment? Perfect. So it was 4 days old, right? And it had been sitting on our counter. And we talked to the rice every day. We would pick up the rice that said hate and we would say mean things to it. Well, we would say things that we would say to ourselves. Then that are not good, right? Taming the bully between your ears. I would say things like, you know, you're fat. Hey, I've started an exercise program. I would say things like you're stupid. Oh my goodness, or you're wasting time. I would say those things to the rice. And in 4 days, if you guys remember, the rice that had the icky things. Remember, it was getting nasty and all icky. And the light rice that had love on it, that we would say nice things to. I've started an exercise program. I'm strong. I can do this. I love myself. I make mistakes, but I measure, monitor, jest. Those things were being said to the love rice. And it didn't have any. Well, on that same day, unbeknownst to everybody in the house but me, I was doing another experiment. I didn't have 2 lids. And so I thought the crazy thing would be, if I put the lid on this, but the cellophane on this, then people say, well, it was the cellophane that got in, right? So this is, I sealed this sucker tight. And this has just plastic wrap over the top. Says love, says hate. Did absolutely nothing else but put them in a drawer and close the drawer. That's all I did. And then today I went up, and I got to admit, I was a little bit scared. I'm like, what if I pull it out and it's all screwed up? And I said, that's okay, because nobody knows I'm doing it. So nobody knows I'm doing it, so if it's all screwed up, then we won't share. But I pulled them out, and I'm looking at the love. Look at this. Can you guys see that on the Facebook? If you can, give me a heart, give me a thumbs up, whatever. It looks really good. Oh, Max is going to show it to you a little bit. And then this is the hate. Look at that. You can see black, nasty stuff. And you would think, right, that if one was going to be messed up, it would be the love one, because it's not totally sealed as good as the hate one is. And so this, I didn't talk to it. I didn't do anything to it. I just put it in a drawer and closed it. I labeled it. Oh my gosh, babe, you are so smart. You are so smart. I labeled it with a thought. I labeled it with a thought. Now, the idea for these come from the book Messages from Water. And I'd heard other people talking about their rice experiments that they've heard. Okay, so I thought, I'm going to do it. So that day we started one where we talked to it, and then we started one where I didn't talk to it. What I learned from this experiment was, first of all, rice doesn't repeat what you say to it, right? So I would get the rice and I would say mean things or loving things to it. Then I would set it down. And the rice wouldn't say anything else to itself. But this morning, I was struggling this morning. I was like, it's crunchy. And it goes back to first world problems because I had to choose between 2 really good things. I had to choose between being with my husband this morning or being on 3 hours of calls that I could listen to the recording to later. Being on 3 calls, getting more information, being with my husband. The last time he was home, I got up at 5:20 every morning and was on all 3 of my calls. You were home for a week for your birthday? So he was home for about a week for his birthday, and every day I got up and I got on my calls. And this time I decided, no, I'm not going to. I'm going to be with my husband. But I kind of did that, made the decision, and then was grumpy about it because, I'm 4 hours behind schedule. What am I going to do? Oh, no. But I should have been here to support my team, but I really want to be with my husband, right? That's a first world problem. Choosing between good things. And so finally I just took a minute and I sat down and I went, Jeanie, you made a decision. Be happy with it. Be happy with it. If thoughts are things, I get to choose my thoughts. I get to choose what I'm happy with, right? So it took me a little bit of time, but I shifted my perspective. I lost my markers again. So my perspective shift went from, oh my goodness, you screwed up, you're stupid, you didn't do anything, you should have gotten up, you should have done both, you should have cloned yourself. Wait, that doesn't work. I watched that movie, Multiplicity. It didn't turn out well. right? To all of that going to where I could shift my perspective and say, wait a minute, what's my number one priority? What am I going to start with? Okay, so I had to tame the bully between my ears and get refocused, and I got everything done that I needed to get done. Isn't that awesome? Okay, that deserves a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was able to shift that perspective, to realize that thoughts are things. And then it was right after that that I went and I got the rice. And I looked at this, all this nasty black stuff right here, and I was like, oh my gosh, when I was thinking all those negative thoughts about myself, that's what I was creating. That. Only worse. Because the rice didn't take what was written on it and go, yes, I'm horrible, I'm stupid, I'm ugly, I'm fat. It's not been doing that for 3 weeks. It's just been sitting in a drawer. So I'm hoping that I can impress upon you the importance of what you've been saying between your ears. What have you been saying?